Your Excellencies, dear colleagues and friends, it is always a great pleasure to participate in the Global Aerospace Summit, and especially in such a historic year for the United Arab Emirates. With the launch of the Emirati Mars mission HOPE and bold decisions to bring progress and peace in the region, we can only feel respect and admiration. Despite the challenging times we are living through, I'm glad and proud that technology allows us to virtually shift space and time and keep up the good work. Indeed, these are challenging times not only due to the pandemic that all our countries are combating. Our society is also changing at a pace not seen before, and the space industry and economy are moving in step with this evolution. The space industry is undoubtedly one of the youngest industries, and yet it embodies all the contradictions and challenges that beset our society today. A technological revolution, an industrial revolution, the fourth, and a media revolution that is accelerating the information cycle, while also, unfortunately, spreading conspiracy theories and fake news. Rather than just giving us lessons to be learned, space can get us thinking and, above all, fuel an ambition to improve, create and tackle the issues that are threatening our future, like resource depletion or climate change, and therefore to ensure our survival. Our first challenge is the pace of technological change driving our industry. In 1942, the first modern rocket soared skywards in Europe. Only 27 years later, in 1969, a man set foot on the moon. Had the aviation industry moved at the same speed, an Airbus A380 would have landed here in Abu Dhabi in 1930. But such apparent overnight success is in fact the result of many years of engineering effort. SpaceX reusable launchers are built around the Merlin engine developed by NASA, a government agency 30 years ago. Engineers continue to set the tempo of any technological revolution. Without it, decision makers and entrepreneurs could not transform technology into an innovation. And if, looking closer to home, you may be wowed by your smartphone's really cool features, remember that they are built on a heritage that's already more than 10 years old. Our second challenge is the fourth industrial revolution, which the space industry has embraced willingly, but not fully yet. The watchwords underlying this revolution, digitalization and globalization, are well known. The impact of the first on satellites has been clear, drastically reducing their mass and enabling them to be built at much lower cost, thus broadening new space and the arrival of private players from the internet sphere. Alongside this miniaturization, we see globalization and the multiplication of government players. From a handful of space agencies at the beginning of the space age, we count more than 60 space agencies around the globe today. And in this expanding world, access to space is becoming over this year. The third challenge facing us is the new post-truth media era. Today, science value is no longer the only yardstick. Perhaps the most striking example of this is the daily proliferation of theories and behaviors refuting scientific evidence about the current pandemic. To a much lesser extent, science is also being challenged by the vision of experts and manufacturers who are pursuing ambitious strategies and making light in their brand message of the technological constraints that set and will continue to set the tempo of development. Today, we are told a woman will be walking on the moon in 2024 and a man on Mars 10 years later. I do hope this will happen. But while the dreams are the stuff of the conquest of space, they must not veil the truth. The conquest of space takes time. We face these challenges with optimism as, in fact, we like to see them as opportunities. Opportunities not only to adapt, but also to anticipate that comes next and drive efforts towards solutions that are efficient, effective and with a positive wider impact on our economies, our societies and our planet. But let me be clear, there are no miracle formulas and no shortcuts to achieve all this. We can count only on hard work, creativity and, as always, a bit of luck. Facilitating the acceleration of technological progress is a key enabler for industry. That is why public and private investment in space programs, space R&D and space science must be sustained. Many consider the dynamic of new space to be a paradigm shift focusing exclusively on the private sector. The truth is that new space is in fact about redefining the relations between private and public stakeholders. Public funding R&D, civil and defense space investments, public-private partnerships, and of course, regulation of space activities, nationally and internationally, are and will remain essential pillars to build the future of the space economy. But fostering the development of new knowledge, be it technological or scientific, is not enough to fuel economic growth. Knowledge needs to be transformed into products and services. Technology has to become innovation. A favorable environment for creativity, for present and future entrepreneurs, for visionary risk-takers is essential. Financial means and know-how, as well as a risk-friendly ecosystem with more flexible and agile ways of working together, are the tools that will unlock the economic potential of space data and technology. To ensure the best chances of success, we must not relent in our efforts to reaffirm the value of science and scientific evidence. We have the most important audience to convince, the future generations. Fostering STEM education is, for the space sector, not only a channel to provide a skilled workforce and creativity, but also a powerful instrument to support facts versus opinions. It provides a guidance and fosters critical thinking for a future generation of scientists, engineers and entrepreneurs with their feet on the ground and their eyes on the stars. All of the above are not just mere ideas. They are concrete ongoing initiatives, notably in France. CNES multilateral and European programs span all scientific and technological fields to spur the potential of innovation, creativity and partnership. Act in Space, KINEIS, Connect by CNES and C-Space are just a few examples. These programs are supported by a team within CNES dedicated to the space economy. Its mission? To be fully cognizant of the context, stakeholders, current and future developments, as well as their impacts on our ecosystem. Their contribution supports us in our innovation choices and their impact on the competitiveness of industry. The effectiveness of these actions is multiplied by their openness. Our world and industry are globalized and international cooperation is the enabler. At CNES, we develop all of our projects through international cooperation, be it with European nations or partners from overseas. Through the years, we have forged a wide range of international partnerships with close to 70 national and multilateral organizations around the world, spanning the full spectrum of space activities, from studies and joint missions to exchanges of personnel, information and data. We are working closely with established space nations and eagerly seeking to build long-term relationships with the new space powers that will be among tomorrow's space players. But limiting the societal benefits of our action to economic aspects would be underexploiting today's opportunities, and that would be a big mistake. We cannot drive technological progress and economic development at the expense of our future. Our planet's finite natural resources and the political, social and economic implications of overexploiting them make it urgent to implement a comprehensive strategy for sustainable development. Space plays an important role to tackle climate change, a field where France is leading the way with the Paris Agreement and the What Planet Summit initiated by President Emmanuel Macron. We have federated the efforts of some 30 space agencies to create the Space Climate Observatory, or SCO, an organization that will allow nations, local decision makers and supranational bodies to monitor the local impacts of climate change in real time and develop climate-resilient policies. The SCO is one of the instruments for responding to the challenges of the 5 Ps of the United Nations 2030 Agenda: planet, population, prosperity, peace, partnerships, and its 17 Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, as well as for forging partnerships to achieve them. On 24 December 1968, the 3 astronauts of the Apollo 8 crew took a breathtaking picture of Earth from the Moon, a picture that triggered a new ecological awakening and awareness of the fragility of our little blue dot, alone in the vastness of space. With the SCO, we are laying the foundations for our 5th industrial revolution, that of the fight against climate change. Thank you for your attention.